What does it say about a country? A rich country, no less. A country where billionaires build private starships and grocery chains throw out thousands of pounds of food daily. That still decides some folks should go hungry. What kind of country starves its own? I'll tell you what it says. It says the invisible hand of the market has been picking pockets, not baking bread. And the folks who worship that hand, well, they've never known what it is to be slapped by it. There's a curious thing about America's food system. Not the part with Doritos and DoorDash. I mean the part that keeps people alive. It's called SNAP, the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. Used to be called food stamps, until we got too embarrassed by how many people needed it and gave it a fancier name to help us sleep better at night. But here's the truth. More than 1 in 2 Americans will use SNAP at some point in their lives. Think about that. 50%, half the nation. And yet, we talk about SNAP like it's some tiny program for those people over there. You know, the lazy, the undeserving, the scammers. Well, I've seen those people. They look a lot like us. They are us. Single moms working 3 jobs, veterans with PTSD, elderly widows, people with long COVID, rural kids who didn't ask for their zip code. And yes, even people with jobs. Because in America, working doesn't mean eating anymore. Now, conservatives, or rather the self-proclaimed apostles of fiscal restraint, love to say government doesn't work, then they break it, and point to the rebels saying, "See, told ya." They call SNAP an entitlement, as if eating is some boutique indulgence like champagne or scented candles. But here's the punchline: SNAP works. It reduces poverty. It improves child health. It boosts local economies. Every dollar spent on SNAP generates $150 to $180 in economic activity. You'd think a party obsessed with small businesses would love that. But no, they'd rather let a kid go hungry than admit government can do something good. And when they slash the program, as they are doing now, let's be plain, people will die. There's no nice way to say that. When a diabetic can't afford the food they need to stay stable and dies quietly in a heat-ravaged apartment, that's blood on the hands of the party that cut SNAP. When a child's brain never fully develops because they missed too many breakfasts during a growth spurt, that's blood on the hands of the budget hawks. When a mother skips her medication to feed her child and ends up in the ER, that's blood on the hands of those who thought tax cuts were more important than bread. We talk about the cost of SNAP. Let me tell you the real cost. Lives, human potential, the moral spine of a nation. See, SNAP isn't just about food. It's about the social contract of the commons. That old, battered idea that a nation is not just an economy, but a society. It says, we are in this together. We do not let people starve on the street. We do not punish the unlucky. We do not confuse wealth with virtue. And we do not abandon those who carried us when we stumble. The social contract isn't socialism. It's civilization. And if we break it, we are not fiscally conservative. We are morally bankrupt. Funny thing, we learn about George Washington and the cherry tree, but they forget the bread lines. They forget the Dust Bowl, the labor strikes for fair wages, the government programs that kept families alive. They tell us government is always the problem, but never who came running during every depression, disaster, and pandemic. We forgot that SNAP does the heavy lifting, the kind that doesn't make headlines, but holds the country together. We forgot that democracy dies in indifference, not just in darkness, and that the social contract can be shredded just as easily by apathy as by authoritarianism. If I may summon old Samuel Clemens for a moment, he might say, "The rich say the poor are lazy, while sitting on their cushions, sipping coffee the poor picked for them. They call SNAP a handout, and call tax cuts a reward. They say morality comes from church, but never ask if Jesus would have voted to starve the children." Now, I'm not as clever as Mark Twain, but I'll say this. If a nation is rich enough to feed its people and doesn't, it ain't the people that are the problem. It's the nation. And we either fix that or we stop pretending this is a democracy. Signed? For the commons, for the contract, for the ones with empty fridges and full hearts,